So what's it like throwing a Tyreek Hill?
It's fun. You catch glimpses of his speed, and you obviously have played against him, seen him play in other games, seen his highlights as well. I mean, dude's explosive. He can turn a negative 2 yard swing route into the 20-yard touchdown, or a 20-yard gain. So it's pretty cool. It's exciting.
Do you feel a renewed sense of the franchise backing you this offseason after there were so many trade rumors swirling in the past?
Well, I think it's, I don't know. I just feel like there's so much things that have happened. A lot of changes, and a lot of good changes, I guess. With the people that we've picked up, the guys that we've acquired as well. Just the locker room feels different, and we're all excited. This is the first time I've seen, a lot of guys show up to phase one of OTAs, and a lot of veterans are showing up to it. I think that speaks a lot to, Mike and the relationship that he has with a lot of the guys on the team, and the amount of respect that he has from the players in the locker room.
So there's a school of thought that says that the Dolphins added quality receiver on the offensive line at running back, and now it puts more pressure on you. Not just pressure, we know you had pressure all along, but more pressure on you. How do you respond?
Well, I think pressure is going to be there every time. I don't feel more pressured that we have acquired all these guys, but it's more of an opportunity that I get, that we all get as a team, to show what we can do this year.
What has been your primary focus in your training this offseason?
Well, towards the scheme of this offense, I've been kind of switching up my footwork, been working on different footwork and drills as well. So that's really been it. Normal lift, condition, get in shape. But other than that, the point of emphasis has really been my footwork.
I know it's just the third week you started minicamp, but what do you like about this offense? And I believe that you did kind of operate a similar offense with Steve Sarkisian in Alabama, but what do you personally like about this offense?
Well, we've only had 2 days of really, kind of getting into the offense, so there's not much installed within the run action, play passes that we have. But it's very similar to what I've ran at Alabama, which in a sense makes it a little easier as far as verbiage and whatnot. But that's still a challenge. Is kind of learning the verbiage, learning where everyone's going, hearing, Mike or hearing Frank or whoever it is, in the headset, trying to give the call and then recalling it to the offense. That's still something that got to continue to get better at.
So what's your relationship with Mike been like over the past couple months?
Well, I don't know if you've seen the videos of him at the luau. I think that speaks a lot. That's kind of how the relationship has been. Very supportive. Wants to hang out. I go up there to his office, tell him, I got a couple of the guys coming over to hang out, and he feels bad, that he didn't get an invite to come over and hang out. So, it's been a really cool relationship. It's been different, but it's been super cool.
What does that support mean to you from your coach?
Well, I think support for any of us as players means a lot. We understand that, the NFL, it's a tough, industry. It's tough to play because you're playing against the best every Sunday. But to be able to have support of the head coach, the head guy, that should tell you a lot.
How much work do you feel like you've put into becoming a better leader and having more of a leadership presence on this team?
Yeah, I think the cool thing about being, on this team under Mike is Mike doesn't force you to be what you're not or what you don't want to be. If, this is how you lead, that's all he wants you to do is lead the way you lead. He doesn't want anyone to, pull that guy to the side, tell him how bad his route was and whatnot, and come back to the huddle. It's more like, hey, go talk to the guy. Tell him what your thoughts are. He'll tell you what your thoughts are. You guys meet in the middle, and that's what that is. And so, for me, I'm not a guy to go, screaming at the defense if they bust the coverage and we're trying to get some work. I'm just one that after all of that, when our set is done, I'll go over and kind of talk to them like, hey, we really need you guys to help us on this, because if you guys don't give us the looks, then we're not going to be able to execute that right in the game. So, for me, my leadership role on this team hasn't changed. Just be myself, and what more can you ask?
In throwing this offseason after you've had to come back from multiple injuries in the past, do you feel a refreshed sense of being able to put a little extra on throws? Do you feel that?
I don't feel any of that at all. I think the most important thing is timing with these guys. These guys are going to get there. You just lay it up to a spot for them, and I have them go get it. So that's what we've been working on throughout this voluntary veterans minicamp, and I think we've done a good job. We had a lot of fun today.
Were you surprised by the coaching change?
Was I surprised by the coaching change with when they hired Mike?
Ryan and then hired.
Well, I mean, I would say I have no comment towards any of that. Just because I don't come up with those decisions. I don't make those decisions, so no comment.
Tua, there was a lot said about you and Flo's relationship. What would you consider you and Flo's relationship?
Big question. That's a big question, huh? Well, I'll tell you this. I'm very thankful that he drafted me to come here to play for the Miami Dolphins. That's what I'd say.
So I remember I think sometime after the Tennessee game, you said that you were going to try to find somewhere cold to throw and practice for those kind of situations. Were you able to do that this offseason?
Yeah, I went up to Maryland. I went up to see my brother. Got to throw there for some time. And it was actually snowing in Maryland when I went up there. So got to do that. Huh?
Crab cakes. Crab cakes.
Oh, no, I didn't get no crab cakes. Yeah, I didn't get no crab cakes.
What was the experience like for you throwing in the snow? I don't know how often you've ever had to.
I don't know. It to me in the snow it was a lot. I don't know. For some reason it was a lot. It was a lot easier. Might have been a lot better to throw in the snow. Whereas if it's just cold and windy, I don't know. The ball just freezes up for some reason, and it just. I don't know what the science behind that. If you guys can get that, that'd be amazing. But I don't know what that was. So.
I heard on the Audible for Dolphins podcast, I'm sorry if I called it the wrong name, you talked about 6 offensive coordinators, 6 offenses since Alabama. How has that impacted your development or ability to learn offenses? Obviously, because 6 offenses probably have 6 different languages.
Yeah. Really, you just get used to studying, and you just get comfortable studying. That's all it is. Get comfortable with the verbiage. Get comfortable with where everyone needs to go. For me, I like to draw it up when I can say it. So I'll say it. I'll draw it up where everyone goes, and then I'll have my brother, my dad, someone test me, quiz me on it, and then from there, then I'll go outside, in the backyard, and then I'll move my dad or my brother or whoever's out there, my mom sometimes, I'll move them, telling them, hey, you're the Z now, or you're the X, or you're the Y, just so I can picture it better. And so when we do come out here, it's a lot easier when guys do ask, hey, where do I go and what do I run? So.
What's that like having your family in your backyard and having them line up and run plays?
I tell you what, they enjoy it. They really enjoy it. I guess my parents, they really enjoy it. My brother, it's one of those things where like, hey, like how many more do we have? But my parents, they do everything that they can to help me succeed. So they don't mind at all.
And what do you think his addition will mean, just stabilizing the offensive line and for you specifically?
Yeah, I think with Teron Armstead being here, his leadership, him being a veteran in the league, him knowing so much and playing under a quarterback like Drew Brees prior, and then him being able to help me, and how to help lead the offense, how to pull guys to the side and do certain things. Just his leadership. He hasn't been out to practice yet, but yeah, just him being around the building. He's a really nice person, a really good person.
You can't invite the head coach to hang out.
You can. This one you can. Yeah, no, this one you can.
We see he's different. He's that cool. Like you guys.
Yeah, no, he's that cool. Yeah.
What's it been like working with Coach Bevel? You haven't really had a quarterbacks coach who's had so much experience and worked with so many fantastic, amazing quarterbacks.
Yeah. I didn't know that Coach Bevel coached Brett Favre, coached Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. I mean, those aren't some small time names. Those are, big time guys. It's a privilege, to have him in our quarterback room. Now have Teddy in our quarterback room, and then also Dan sitting in our quarterback room as well. A lot of knowledge there. So, being able to pick all of their brains and hearing what they have to say, I think it's good.
What's your expectation for yourself in year 3?
Help our team win games, and as much games as we can. Yep.
So outside of working on your game this summer, what are your plans between now and the start of training camp? What are you going to do away from football?
Away from football? Golf. Probably golf. That's it.
How's your golf game?
It's all right. It's all right. The best I shot was at 81. Anyone in here shot at 81? Whew. No lessons, though. No lessons. I never took lessons. All YouTube, baby.
So have you watched tape of Cedric Wilson, and could you talk about the specific skills you think he's going to bring?
Yeah. With Cedric, I thought he was a lot smaller for some reason. Maybe the number 1 made him look extremely slim when he was with the Cowboys. But I thought he was a very shifty guy, a very small, shifty guy. But he's actually really, really big. He's tall, he's lanky, and he can move, which surprises me. Normally, tall guys, can't move as quick and, aren't as shifty. But it's cool to see him out there running routes. He's done a good job thus far within our voluntary veteran minicamp. So excited.
Joy, you mentioned Teddy. What have been your early impressions of him as a guy, and what kind of working relationship are you looking forward to having?
Well, I'm looking forward to having a relationship the way I have with our quarterbacks coach and our head coach with Teddy. I would say that's the same relationship I had with Fitz and the same relationship I had with Jacoby last year. A bunch of good guys, and can learn a lot from Teddy. Teddy's been in the league for quite some time, and he doesn't talk much, but when you do decide to talk to Teddy, he'll open up a little and he'll share whatever you ask him. So,
Have you watched every throw you made last year? Or if you haven't, do you plan to? And when you watch, or if you've already done it, you emerge with what thought as far as where specifically I need to be better?
Yeah, I watched not every throw last year. Well, I have watched every throw last year. If you want to say we've watched film last year, yeah. But I sat down with the head coach, and we went over about 150 clips of throws. Throws that need to be better, throws that were good, all sorts of throws. And the reason as to why he showed me that is it transitions to the way he kind of schemes up the offense. And really the biggest thing for us is yak. Is yak. So we want to yak the heck out of teams.
One thing that Mike McDaniel pointed out is that while he does have a specific system and scheme, he does want to tailor it to his players' skill sets. Just how much input have you had in kind of developing that playbook, and maybe what's that process kind of been like? You talked about going through the clips of you throwing and whatnot. What's that process been like?
Yeah, for me, that process has just been me studying the formations and studying what they have as far as install with pass plays. it's really early on as to trying to fine tune things right now within the playbook. But I'm sure when training camp hits, then that's when everyone will start to have their input within the play calls, the formations, how things should be called, why we don't want to call it this, why we should call it that, things like that. All the fun things, huh?